Here's what you should be doing if you want to replicate what I think is the best coach build in college football 26. So it's going to start with you being a recruiter. Um, I think the best place to start is here while you're getting your points up is to try to get to tier 3 for all of these. If quarterback is critical to you, put it on quarterback. For me, quarterback isn't as critical. I accidentally put tier 4 on this one. I didn't mean to. So I want to get tier 3 on the position groups that are important to me. Ones that are really important to me are the O line. We cannot control the O line, it's impossible to control them. So for me, recruiting is critical that we have the best O line. When you play defense, you're only going to be controlling one player for the most part. And generally speaking, I'm controlling a linebacker. So because I don't control my DBs or my D line, those two are critical for me. And then I also want to make sure I have the best linebackers I possibly can. So that's why I put in recruiter. The next step is going to be getting strategist. But to get strategist, you have to unlock tactician first. So within tactician, you have to spend some points. I put it all on O line for the same reason as I mentioned before. In my opinion, what you want to be doing next is you want to be maxing out strategist. You want to have tier 4 in all of these. I think tier 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all critical to making sure you have the best recruiting you can. Boost to complimentary visits is huge. It's already something that's very helpful. Visits are, in my opinion, overpowered. So getting them even stronger, creating a lower threshold for deal breakers, both keeps your players on your team and allows you to recruit more players. And then Mind Reader, I think, is one of the best abilities in the whole game. Being able to find what the depth trade is for a player and going out and attacking them, especially if you're a small school, being able to go out and target 3 stars that nobody's recruiting and finding out which ones are star dev, elite dev, and going and recruiting them instead of trying to find random good players with good attributes. You're going to be able to know what their dev trait is, and you only have to spend 10 hours because you find out whether the dev trait is there in the first click of the scouting. You don't have to do more than that. So I love that. I want to pair that, once we get that, I want to pair that with Talent Developer. Because it was so expensive to open Motivator, I didn't actually have to put any points into Motivator, but if I did, I would put them on O-line. But moving over to show you Talent Developer, the main thing I want to get is I want to get tier 1 on all of these. But I'm only going to do tier 1 for players that I think we're going to get drafted. So when I know I'm going to have a offensive lineman get drafted, that's when I'm going to put tier 1 on offensive line. I'm not going to spend these points until I know tier 1 is going to be useful for that group. Even though tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 can be helpful, we want to make sure we are as efficient as we possibly can be and wait till we have a player being drafted before we buy that tier 1. I go headlong into offensive line and the defense for the same reasons as I mentioned before. And then these ones I'm generally going to just do tier 1. I did tier 2 on this one because I had the extra points. And generally speaking, I'm getting a freshman quarterback and rocking with them for multiple years. So getting a little bit more dev when they're younger is awesome. XP doesn't work nearly as well for O-line and defense, so tier 3 is huge for these guys. And then being able to stack the pipeline bonuses, as you'll see in the future, that's tier 4, which is huge. Being able to have a pipeline bonus for that position group, amazing. And then once you get to the point where you've won 5 playoff games, in my opinion, you should be moving to Program Builder and getting inside track SMART goals. You get 25% more XP from all completed goals. That's going to allow you to keep escalating through your levels and get where you want to go. I want to max out my pipelines. So this is a huge one for me. I'm saving 48 points to have tier 1, 2, and 3 to make sure my pipelines are as strong as possible. And if you've planned well and you know for sure that your coach pipeline is in a good space that's going to benefit your pipelines overall, move it up 1 for your school. You get better starting interest, which is huge. And then you also get extra boost for your coach pipeline as well. So we start stacking those pipeline boosts from talent builder, from having good pipelines in the first place, and having strong roots where your coach pipeline. You start stacking these things. Once you get to 2 national championships, save your points. Make sure that you have enough points to unlock CEO lasting impression. This is going to change your recruiting in general. This is one of the best abilities in the game that can make it more expensive, and you should still go buy it. I stand by that 100%. This changes everything for you. You now, where you're not strong, are stronger, and where you already are strong, you become unbeatable. And then the really OP thing is the more the merrier, getting up to 8 visits a week. And why this is so critical is the overall strategy that we're going to be doing for Coach XP. When you can get this, and if you've built your team the way you should, or built your coaching staff the way you should, is you want to, for this build, you want to stack strategists at offensive and defensive coordinator. You want to have strategists at both of them, and you want to be able to have visits there. When you have CEO, though, your active perk is going to be the playoff wins. But if you have strategists in both the offensive and defensive coordinator spot, you get 1,500 bonus XP points for each prospect visiting for a win. So even if you only have 6 home games, if you can have 8 people visiting, that's 12,000 points in 1 week if 1 coordinator is a strategist. If 2 coordinators are strategists and you can have 8 people visiting, that's going to be 24,000 points for every home game that you can schedule 8 visits in. When you map that out over 6 games, you're talking about 150,000, or close to it, 142,000 XP points just from the strategist XP bonuses. So I think it's one of those things that you're going to escalate through it really quickly and do some awesome recruiting. The best thing also is I think visits are OP. So being able to have a boost to your complimentary visits, having 7 complimentary visits for a player if you can get it, having a bigger impact on the visits, as well as if you get the blowout win, which is I think a 17 to 21 point victory, you will get 75% bonus in your visit. If you have a convincing win, I think that's from 10 points to 16 points, it's a 50% bonus to your visit. Once you get into that space and you have an early visit against a decent opponent or a rival or somebody ranked higher than you, you're going to be signing whatever kid you want. And with pipeline bonuses, and you're really starting to stack all these things up, and your starting interest for the position groups are up. So you have great pipelines, you have great starting interest. When you get to the point that you have a visit, you're knocking it out of the park. You're really aligning yourself to be able to sign the recruits that you want to sign basically by week 6 or 7. Even with my build that's not as strong as this, I signed 11 5-star recruits by week 8. And it didn't even get to use this build to do it. So I might have had them signed all by week 7 if I'd have done this exact build. This is an exaggeration. All of this is level 100 and where to all put your points, and kind of, I illustrated progressionally where you should put it. Some of the last point that you're going to be putting on is talent developer, so you'll get that as time goes on. But you should be able to get to level 100 even faster if you stack your initial build with strategist, then get your offensive and defensive coordinator on strategist. You should be able to rock through levels super fast, as well as getting top recruits, knowing their dev trait, developing them really well when they go pro. I love this build. This is what I'm striving for in my online dynasty now. So hopefully this helps you. If you have questions, drop comments. Let me know what you're thinking. I want to answer whatever I can for you. This isn't the only build. This isn't necessarily your best build, but in my opinion, this is one of those ways that if you get it built to this point, you should dominate recruiting and take whatever player you want any week that you decide you want them. So hopefully this helps. Appreciate you guys.